NASCAR rolls into sunny San Diego Naval Base Coronado, one of the most highly anticipated events in quite some time. I am joined by Win the Race's Ryan Stevens here to break down NASCAR's latest and greatest road course concoction. Let's start with this Red Bull battle that I think a lot of fans will have a close eye on, Ryan. Both Shane Van Gisbergen and Connor Zilisch are running pretty sick complementary Red Bull paint schemes. We know how dominant SVG has been. 7 road course wins already in his young career. If he gets one more win, he would tie Tony Stewart for second most road course wins all time. But don't sleep on Connor Zilisch. The kid's shown top 5 speed in just about every road course race he's run, but he hasn't yet gotten the finish we feel he deserves. How big, in your opinion, is the gap right now from SVG to Zilisch?
I think what Zilisch showed us at Watkins Glen says that he's tightened the gap here a little bit. Problem is he's just still not getting good finishes. And not only is SVG dominating these races, but he's getting those finishes. So, he's won 6 of the last 8. You mentioned his wins. His only losses were at Coda, twice. And in that time, he's ran 74% of his laps inside the top 3. You look at the next best guy, 24%, Tyler Reddick, has percent of his laps inside the top 3. It's just not even close. Like, he's just on a different planet here. It's kind of like when we were talking about Denny Hamlin the last couple of weeks. There's just a huge gap from him to second. One thing I noticed when looking everything up, there's only 4 full-time drivers this year without a top 10 this whole season. It's Cody Ware, Ty Dillon, Cole Custer, and Connor Zilisch. So I'm hoping he can snap that this time around. But the gap from him to SVG, I think, has to remain large in our minds until we see him go out there and do it for an entire race.
Gosh, that is, I hope he gets it figured out this weekend, because that is not a list you want to be on, even if you are a 19-year-old rookie. Well, I think I agree. I think everyone agrees Shane Van Gisbergen has to be the clear favorite coming into this race. Last time NASCAR went to a brand new road course, it was Chicago. Shane Van Gisbergen burst onto the scene there, stunned the world. Now it's no longer a surprise to see him dominate these races. However, there are a few drivers. If something happens, if SVG does falter, there are a few drivers that have been right around the lead all season long. 4 drivers, including SVG, have finished top 5 in both road course races this year so far. Michael McDowell, 5th at Coda, 2nd recently at Watkins Glen. We were all, remember, amazed by SVG's pace on that final green flag run at Watkins Glen. Michael McDowell wasn't that far behind. He put together a pretty nice charge himself. Remember last season, Michael infamously said that SVG is beatable on road courses. Is this the week that McDowell maybe finally beats Shane? What do you think?
I remember right, he said that, and that did not end well for him. I don't think he can beat SVG, but I do expect him to be great. Over the last 2 years, 8 road races, so 2025 and just the 2 from this year, only SVG, Reddick, and Bell have a better average finish than McDowell. You mentioned it, 5 top 5s in those 8 races. And they're not fluky either. He has the 5th highest percentage of his laps ran inside the top 5. So he is running up there all day too. Qualifying well, running well. He can pass in these races. So, yeah, I really like McDowell this weekend. I expect him to be running top 5 again.
And one of the last Chicago, it was last year's Chicago race, McDowell led the first 30 or so laps before a mechanical failure knocked him out of the race. 2 other drivers that also are on that list of top 5s in both road races this year are Tyler Reddick and Ty Gibbs. Ryan, we know how good the Toyotas have been. We know how good Tyler Reddick is on road courses himself, a 4-time road course winner as well. Ty Gibbs last year when they went to Mexico City for the first time, was pretty fast, maybe the 2nd or 3rd fastest car behind SVG. Are these guys the best of the Toyotas at the very least?
They're great. There's a lot of great Toyotas. I mentioned Bell's great road finishes as well, just talking about McDowell there. I would imagine it's difficult for him to turn right and left this weekend with a broken wrist, so I'm not sure what to expect from Bell. But it is worth noting that in the 8 road races, 2025 and 2026, Bell has won top Toyota 4 times. Gibbs has twice, then Briscoe and Reddick the other 2 times. But if he's hindered by this wrist injury, I think, it's Ty Gibbs and Tyler Reddick as the obvious Toyotas to watch. But I did want to talk about Chase Briscoe real quick. He was one of the best cars at Coda before it exploded, then comes back and finishes 4th at Watkins Glen. His great road course runs date back to, all of last year with JGR. He qualifies well. He maintains that all day. In that same 8-race sample that I keep using, he's actually 2nd in average running position behind only SVG. So if SVG is going to go down this weekend, which I do think is a long shot that he loses, I do think, and it's not a surprise with how dominant they've been, that it's probably a Toyota that takes him down.
That's a good point on Chase Briscoe. Yeah, kind of sneaking up on me. I do remember he was second at Sonoma last year. I think I always joke he was one of the few drivers last year who was at least in the shot at the finish behind SVG. You could at least see Chase Briscoe. He wasn't that far behind. So that's a good pick. That's a good point as well. This is kind of a fun one. NASCAR, they're going to be in California the next 2 weeks. San Diego, then they'll go up the coast to Sonoma Raceway. There are a lot of California drivers in the field this weekend, from Tyler Reddick to Kyle Larson to AJ. Jimmy Johnson is in the field this week. This is his home race. He's excited. Zane Smith, Cole Custer, and I might even be missing one or two. So I guess I'll throw this out there as a fun one for all our California viewers and listeners out there. Which California driver do you anticipate having the best finish Sunday?
That would be Tyler Reddick. And the only one who would come close in this group of drivers would be AJ Allmendinger. Okay. He does have top tens in both road races this year. And while I know maybe we expect more than that, it might actually be a compliment to him, with the speed that this car has, that he can drive that to a top 10 on these road courses. We know the skills there. He's driving way above where they've been running on speed all year, like I just said. Regardless, I mean, Reddick is second to SVG only in average finish on road courses over the last 2 years. So when I look at this group of Cali guys, it's been a little disappointing for Kyle Larson. I mean, HMS was kind of lost when we last saw him on a road course.
Oh, that's true.
Jimmy Johnson, I could not expect much from. It'll be nice to see him out there, but I think that's all we can say there. And then, the other guys, I don't know. No one's touching Tyler Reddick here. I think he's going to be the Cali guy.
I think I agree. But we'll see what AJ can do. AJ's always been he seems to always overachieve, or at least that's what he's done lately. I wasn't even sure if I was going to bring this guy up, but ever since Shane Van Gisbergen won in his road course debut a few years back, I feel like I have to at least mention this guy so we're not caught off guard if something crazy does happen. But Kevin Magnussen, the former F1 driver, is making his NASCAR Cup Series debut this weekend in San Diego. Project 91 Trackhouse car. I don't know, Ryan, how do we even judge this? He has no stock car racing history to really refer back to. So what, if you just had to throw a number or an expectation out there, what kind of performance do you expect from K-Mag?
Well, I know this is a boring answer, but we don't really know anything until we see him on the track. And Greg and I don't talk before we kind of score everything and run our simulations on Win the Race. We kind of pump everything in there and let it do its thing. He comes out kind of mid-pack, around like the Bubba Wallace, Denny Hamlin type range, when we're sorting through these road course scores, I guess we'll call them. And again, we didn't plan that. It just happened that way. But I think it's a great spot to put him in, because then it will kind of let practice speed and qualifying speed dictate kind of where he ends up in our final scores for the weekend. So it'll be fun to see. I'm curious to see what this other Trackhouse car can bring. And, you got the two greatest guys to talk to and shoot ideas off of on your team, to try and gain an advantage here. So it'll be fun to watch, and I'm hoping he shows up fast. It'll be fun.
It's true. He does have some good human resources to lean on this weekend. We'll wrap up as usual, Ryan, with some dark horse picks. Road courses usually allow us to talk about some maybe unusual names. I mean, you already mentioned him earlier, so I'll throw out AJ Allmendinger. That was going to be my dark horse pick. He's got a couple of top tens on road races this year. Like you said, he won. His most recent Cup win was the Roval 2.5 years ago, I believe. So he's been there, done that before. But who's maybe a surprise top 5 pick or a sneaky win pick in your eyes this weekend?
I'll go with Ryan Blaney. The last 5 times we've seen him qualify on a road course, he's qualified 7th, 1st, 11th, 4th, 7th. So that's up front. He's got a few top 10 finishes in those 5 races. And in 2 of those races, he actually ran over 80% of his laps inside the top 5. So, even though some of them haven't worked out in his favor, he has been fast and running up front. Things really just seemed to click last year, and this team was bringing great speed to road courses. And 2 good runs to start 2026 as well. So if he can just have some good pit stops and strategy, I think, where he's been running with a little bit of, luck or strategy, he could top 5.
I like that. Not often we consider Blaney a dark horse, but I agree in this case. And remember the Roval, when they first introduced the Roval, that was a big new bold idea in 2018. it was Ryan Blaney who swooped in on the final lap to get the win in that inaugural event. So you never know. You never really know. I do know, Ryan, that you always bring the goods every week when we do this segment, so I appreciate your time. Fans, you can find more of Ryan's great work at wintherace.info. Click the link down below. And if you're looking for some more midweek content ahead of each race every week, you can check out The Draft on the Win the Race YouTube channel. Ryan, I know y'all stream every weekend, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Are you still holding on to your lead right now, your season-long lead? How you been doing over there?
Yeah, Tino and I actually had our first tie of the season. Somehow we had different teams and each scored 300 points, so it's been fun. But yep, so now I have 6.5 wins, but that is leading the gang over there. So yeah, Wednesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we'll draft, talk about 9 guys each, and a lot of good data, a lot of good stats, a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And again, if you don't get to check it out live, you can always find it on the channel after the fact. It's still great content to watch/listen to ahead of each Cup Series race weekend. Ryan, appreciate it as always. Have a great weekend, man, and we'll catch up again real soon.
Thank you. Enjoy the beautiful weather out there. I'll be, jealous. It looks perfect, and that's great race weather for everyone too. So have fun watching the races, everyone.